Hey everyone, let's talk about top 10 security threats. When we talk about application security, the application changing, context changing, use case is changing. So the nature of threat, nature of security also changes. So how we are coming up with some numbers like top 10, top 5, top 20 security threats. How we are coming to consensus that these are the top 10 threats, if software is changing, like I have mostly use case of the banking, and I have to deploy the different mechanisms like username, password, they should be proper. So the kind of vulnerability available there, kind of threat available there is very much different from when we have social networking site like Facebook, e-commerce platform there. So many a scenario, these things are different. So thing is how we are coming to consensus. So there is organization. So you see the green color, OWASP. Coming to more about it, its short form OWASP is a short form for Open Web Application Security Project. This is the organization. This is the organization that is involved in a lot of research around the security threats that are around there over internet and all the applications out there. So if I take you to this link in here, before talking about this top 10, let's discuss more about what is OWASP. It is a globally recognized non-profit organization which is focused on improving the security of software. This top 10 list is a critical resource that highlights the most common and severe security risks to web applications. It also helps us in guiding developers, security professionals, and organization in prioritizing and mitigating the vulnerabilities. So let's say I am going to build my own software for my company, and I have come across these top 10 security threats. So while developing my application, I'll make sure that this is taken into account and my application is not vulnerable to these kind of threats, because this is something that I have got to know from the people who are already in the industry, and they have got to know about it. Okay, so this is the website, and you can get more knowledge about what is this one, and there is a lot of information out there about this one. So on this website, this video we are going to focus on the just introduction about top 10 security threats that are there. So there are three new categories. So year by year they are like changing the list. So you can see 2017 and 2021. So this list is available, and how the priority changing, how a particular threat is going up and down. You see 2017 top threat was injection. In 2021 that has gone to number 3, but top 10 security remains same. Like some of that is like newly added, some of them are removed from the existing list, but they are there, and everyone in the software industry should take into account that their application are exposed to these kind of threats. So 2017 list is like injection, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, XML external entities, broken access control, security misconfiguration. So these things are there, like broken access, cryptographic failures, injection. This page has information like how they are categorizing and how they are going up in the list and down in the list. Okay, so coming to our slide here again. So what I have done, I have listed these top 10 security threats that are there, and I'm going to tell you a couple of points around this one for this video, so that we have understanding basically what these threats are there and how they can impact. We will be talking more about in further videos because we want to keep the videos short and sweet. So let's talk about like couple of points about it. What is this broken access control? So broken access control weaknesses are prevalent in web application and can lead to unauthorized access to sensitive data. Attackers can exploit these flaws to gain unauthorized user privilege and access restricted function. Broken access control also talks about like when we have implemented form like user registration and the policies that we have around the username and password, like username cannot be your first name, password should have certain policies around that, minimum one capital, minimum one special character. So by these combinations we can reduce the attack surface and we can avoid the brute force when we have these policies in place. Up to certain extent we can like safeguard our application from normal threats that are out there. The second threat, top second in the category, is the cryptographic failure. So this comes into picture when we have data, we are storing the data, we are we are securing the data around by applying cryptographic algorithms. Like I am not storing the details as it is, but I'm securing them by cryptographically encoding them in certain format. Like if you password is going into the system, that is not plain text. Sometimes username, SSN information, that informations that can be used to identify the users directly. So we companies don't store them as plain text, they store it in certain format that is not easily readable, basically some random string. So that is where cryptographic algorithms comes into picture. So cryptographic failures is the second category that is there. So people should make sure that they are using the latest cryptographic algorithms with latest configurations out there to make sure that it is not exposed to normal threats out there. Third one is the injections. Injections are like SQL injection is there, and other kind of injection also available there. No SQL injection is there. This kind of threat occurs when let's say I have a form that is like expecting username and password. So injection is something, if I can pass specific strings in the username and password in a specific format, that can bypass the security check. So if we go back 10-20 years back, this injection was very much threat, and most of the applications were exposed to this kind of threat. But nowadays there like a lot of awareness is about a lot of awareness is there about this one. So this is not that much there, but still it is considered as third number in the security threats that are out there. So there are very popular ways to avoid, like to safeguard our applications, which we'll be talking in the next video. But just know that this is very like this is making to the top 3. That means it is still out there in the industry and applications are exposed to this kind of threats. Number 4 is the insecure design. What is this insecure design? This refers to the flaws in the software design that lead to security vulnerabilities. That is what it said, that security is something that should be considered from the first phase of the software development life cycle. This is something that emphasizes the need for secure design principle and practices throughout the development life cycle. So we cannot say that initially it is planned and it is not going to be there in the other phases. So it has to be there in every phase that is there. The next is the security misconfiguration. So this security misconfigurations are one of the most common issues and involve insecure default configurations, incomplete configurations. Nowadays every application is, most of the applications are cloud native and they are being deployed in the cloud. So cloud gives us a lot of flexibility, but also it gives us a lot of challenges in terms of like how we are securing our applications, securing our data. So a slight misconfiguration on those cloud services and the data that is available there can expose the data to everyone out there on the internet. So that is why expertise, and very much expertise, is needed on this one when we are exposing anything on the cloud or over internet. So configuration should be carefully planned. The next one is the vulnerable and outdated component. So vulnerable outdated component, like most of the time when we are not updating our applications, we are using the libraries that helps us in our code overall functionalities. They are outdated and there are security threats out there, so we should keep updating the software's libraries that we are using actually. So one example, if we talk about log4j, that discussion, and that was very much prevalent. So you are using Java, so try to make sure that you are with the latest version. Any sort of library that you are using, keep a check on that which security threat is there in the version that you are using, and make sure that you update it when that fix is available. The next one is the identification and authentication failure. So flaws in authentication and session management can allow attackers to assume others' users. So identification and authentication failures are there, like when attackers can assume the role that is not expected from them to do. Let's say my your account is there, so some attacker can assume my role there. How they can assume it? Because there is some loophole is there in the identification and authentication mechanism that is implemented with the software. So this is something that should be taken into account, like there are ways that we can mitigate it, that we will be talking about. So this is the something identification authentication failure is something that can result from weak passwords, session fixation, and insufficient account management. Like we're not changing the passwords regularly, that is the one thing. We're not having a proper policies for the password that we talked about. Okay, so the next one is number 8 is coming, software and data integrity issues. Software and data integrity failures talks about, this covers the issues related to the integrity of the software and data, such as the risk of tampered or corrupted software updates and the potential impact of using untrusted third-party components. So some of these things you see seems related, like number 6 and number 8, vulnerable outdated components, software and data integrity issues, but there are slight differences that are out there. Moving ahead, number 9 is security logging and monitoring failures. Insufficient logging and monitoring coupled with ineffective or missing incident responses can allow attackers to further exploit systems and maintain persistent threats within the environment. So logging and monitoring should be done with proper careful and proper considerations out there. Logging is something that you should not expose the sensitive informations in there, that is the one thing. Monitoring is something that you should know that what traffic is coming to our application and whether it is expected or not. In it, we will be easily able to know that what are the bot traffics, what are the actual human traffics. So in the previous videos we talked about some kind of bot attacks, right? So we should be able to identify what those are and differentiate it with the actual human traffic. Coming to the number 10, server-side request forgery. So this vulnerability is something that occurs when web application is tricked into making requests to unintended locations. So you see server side, so locations can be tricked. It will assume that the server will know that request is coming from somewhere else, but actually the requests are originating from somewhere else. That is what it is. So this is something that can lead to information disclosure, allowing attackers to interact with the internal system or external services. So when they got hold of the servers, they can do anything with the accounts, the data that is available with the server, and this can result in one time they got access and they can get hold of the entire data that is available with the server. So these are the top 10 security threats that I wanted to talk about. I want to keep it short, so I'll be ending this video right now. Next video, I'll be talking about the impact of each of these, specifically couple of points around that one, and what are the preventions, what are the ways that we can mitigate these kind of things. So couple of points, the discussion one, just for our understanding we will be doing it. So look for those links in the description or comment section, you will get that one. So I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care, bye bye.